Good early morning. I'm gonna take you for a spin today and show you actually some of probably the more far-flung roads that I'd reach, because today is a 5-hour ride and I wouldn't normally get kind of this far north. It's gonna be a good loop. There's gonna be lots of this, like trees, woodland, wildlife possibly. We're also gonna do some intervals, but for the majority of it, it's just going to be steady away, zone 1, zone 2. Just a nice day out. And yeah, it's 7:30. What a brilliant time to be out. So a little bit of housekeeping. I know in January I'm going to London, and there's going to be a little bit of a project coming from that, which I'll let you know about very soon. And then we've also in January got to go to the Cycling Time Trials Champions Night. So I've been invited because I won the British Hill Climb Championship, so I'm very delighted. The past week we managed to do a 16-hour week of training. That's on the bike, not off the bike. So it went pretty well. I'm happy with it. There wasn't a lot of intensity there. There was at the start of the week when I did some Swift racing, and I did some actual like specific threshold efforts on the Monday. The rest of the week it was like more, well, the mileage was a little bit longer, a little bit more, so the intensity was a little bit lower to correlate to that. And this week we're aiming for a 24-hour week. And much of today's ride is going to be zone 1, zone 2, so around about 200 to 220 watts, or kind of if I'm riding in that kind of area, no more than like 135 meters a minute. And what I generally say happens is around 80 or 90% of this ride will be in those zones, and then when I do my efforts, they're going to be in the upper range zones. I don't know if there is a crossover point. I'm plucking out numbers here because I don't really know, but for most of the people I come across who train kind of less than 10 hours a week, I know lots of people are interested in kind of like the 80-20 principle, and I think that really only applies if you have enough time to train in the week. Because I mean, for the pros, you know, who do say 30-hour weeks, they can't ride maximally for 30 hours. You take a look at when they're racing the Tour de France, you know, a lot of their time through the whole Tour de France is spent in zones 1 to 3. And that's because physically they can't spend like a heap ton of time over zone 3, because it's just not physically possible. They can on a day-to-day basis, but they can't in one lump. Like I say, for people who train less than 10 hours, it's nigh on impossible, if you're going to ride most of the time in zone 1 and 2, to get any kind of fitness benefit, because you're not pushing yourself, because you've only got 10 hours to train. So that's where you've really got to make the most of your time, and why almost every day is actual interval sessions, because those are most effective when you haven't got enough time. I know I'm just repeating old stories, probably what you read online and in the magazines, but you've only kind of got to watch, like when I change from road racing to hill climbing, when my hours drop, I actually do more harder sessions, more interval sessions, and less of this sort of thing, less of these 5 hours. And something else to bear in mind today is that I'm doing a lot of my intervals in the first 2 hours, because I'm not in good shape. Well, it's only December at the end of the day, but when I start getting really fit, I'll swap it round. And I'll do all my intervals, or some of them, at the back of back latter half of the ride. This in itself boosts your endurance, even if you've just ridden really easy for the first 3-4 hours. That'll be my turning point. That'll be one kind of difference I'll make. You know, when that turning point happens, I'll start doing intervals at the end of 4-hour rides. First block of efforts done. I have to say these rides are also very good to help me kind of remind the body that I need to keep eating quite a lot on these rides, and drinking as well. And now that I have this very clever setup from Roswell, we have an awesome frame bag that's just like legitimately probably one of the best things I now own, because not only is it extremely sleek, like I can't even see it when I look down, right, but it's extremely sleek, it holds a lot, so I've actually got another bottle in there, and I've got all my food, so my pockets are free to carry like rain cape. So I'm now on like the A40 and I'm heading towards Llanrwder. I'm going to turn left and we're going to head towards breakfast soon. We're going to go up kind of like the first real climb of the day, and there's not many climbs on this route. It's quite a rolling route, but there's probably 2 major climbs, nothing too difficult. But as we're still less than 2 hours in, I'm going to use the climb as another setting up place for doing another load of zone 3 efforts. So I've done 2 10-minute blocks at the minute, where I've done well, the first block was 40 20s, 40 seconds at 300, 20 seconds at 400, so that came out to 10 minutes at around about 340 average. And then the second block was just 300 watts, steady, and then every 3 minutes I was doing a 10-second sprint. Ah, that's it, peeps. That's another block done. Really good. Really good. So I was sitting at like 300 watts, which is like 90% of the minute of my FTP, and then bouncing every like 40 seconds at 90%, and then 20 seconds at 120 odd percent. And bouncing back and forth between them. My heart rate was kind of leveling at around 163. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do another FTP test soon just to clarify where I'm at, because I'm getting like mixed signals. Like obviously my power meter is telling me one thing, but then like my body's telling me something else. So yeah, but the sun is properly coming up now and it's lovely out. Absolutely, look at that, it's coming over the hill. Epic. There's some frozen fog ahead, or freezing fog. All signs now point to breakfast. We're about 60–65% through this ride. I'm thoroughly frozen because we just come down a big descent, and I could see the side of the road there was like little like glistening patches of ice and the odd drop of snow. So I was like, I'm not taking any risks down here. So I'm frozen now. But look at that. It is super cold down here. It must be -3, but thankfully it won't be far off breakfast. We can climb again and get more blood through it. Woo. Finally the cold air is lifted. We're getting closer to the coast, so it's gone from like -2 to around 2, and that 4 degrees has made a huge difference. Oh, the Towie River is flooded. That's the river that we crossed way back earlier in this video, in Llandailo, where all the pretty houses were, multicoloured houses. So we've done like a big loop and crossed it twice in 2 different places. I'm 3.5 hours into the ride. I've got normalised power of 260, which is about 4.5 watts per kilo, or 4.3 watts per kilo rather. And average is a little bit lower than that, obviously. It's like around about 3.8, which is tidy. But now, the last 2 hours, I'm just pootling along. I have to, really, especially when I'm going to be doing, you know, a lot more hours this week. It's about being smart about how I use my efforts and when I complete them in my rides, and also which rides are hard and which rides are easy. Obviously with a big 5-hour ride like today, it's easier to split it up and almost have 2 rides in itself. So first half of the ride when I'm a lot more fresh, do my efforts. Second half, just tick over, and then I'm a little bit fresher, so to speak, for tomorrow's ride. But like I said, like, I'm looking forward to, because what happens now is my average speed drops. I know average speed means nothing, but it's always nice to like when you finish a ride strong, the average speed keeps increasing. It's just like this time of year, and of course when I'm not so fit, average speed's going down, and I just really want to, so I'm looking forward to those rides where I can do my efforts at the end and really get fast towards the end. Those would be good. That's it. Bike ride almost done. To be honest, I'm pretty done. That was good. That was really good. Eating a lot. That was a Veloforte bar. Very nice. Just what I need really when I got a 24-hour week to do, because they are packed full of calories, packed full of carbohydrate, and perfect for this week. So that's it. That's the session done. Great place to finish, isn't it? You know, when you've got a cycle path that's like 25 miles long, you got to use it. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna focus on recovery for the rest of the day, and we're gonna do it all again tomorrow, the next day, the next day. Oh, there's some cocklers picking up that. Incredible. I can see more rain coming in. Can you see it? We should be okay, I think. We're heading east. Famous last words.